Hello, Vanguard players alike. I'm Ultigold from Team Moonlight Sanctuary, and I'm here to bring you a deck profile of my Gold Paladin Liberator deck. As you can see, my deck is laid out in front of me, so everything is just ready for profiling. Yeah, I said that. And sorry for the horrible quality. I'm recording this on my phone. Heads up already. I know, abomination. I'm sorry. Super stupid. All right, for my starter, I play Knight of Early Dawn Coel. It's a free superior call when I get into GB, when I get into my first GB unit, as long as I call 2 units or more. It's a super simple skill. Put into soul, top 3, call something, gets 2,000 power, sets off a lot of my chains, and super helpful. All right, for triggers, I play 2 Flame of Victory. It sets up for something big I have later on. So it's super easy, super simple. Thunder Soul plus 3,000 power, super good. I play 2 draw triggers. I'm contemplating keeping them in because of the plussing, but I'm also contemplating picking them out just for 2 more Flame of Victory. Obviously, the 4 staple heals, obviously. And I play 4 Barbatruck. It's a super easy skill when it's called from hand or deck alike. I can put this back into deck, check top 4 for a bluish flame, grade 3, add it to hand, and shuffle my deck. I would be a complete idiot if I didn't play Ketchgall Liberator. It's a super easy skill when it's superior called from deck. Put it at the bottom, check top 3, superior call anything, and it means anything as long as it's not Ketchgall Liberator. Alright, that is it for my grade 0s. On to the grade 1s. I play 3 Bruno. It's one of the key grade 1s of my deck. Its skill is when something is superior called from deck, it gets 3,000 power, and the power just stacks, and the amount of chains I can get off in this deck is insane. So, it stacks up to pretty big numbers. This is one of... Right here is Physical Force Liberator Zoran. I play him at 3 as well. When he's superior called from deck, put it into soul. Check top 3 for Liberator and superior called. You can set off a sort of chain reaction with Ketchgall with this card. Since you can't call Ketchgall Liberator with Ketchgall Liberator, you can move back and forth from these 2 cards. It shuts off a sort of chain loop thing, but it's not always successful and not very consistent, but it helps. I play 3 Holy Mage Lavinia. It's a good perfect guard when I am able to superior call it when I'm at Unite. I can return a card back to my deck, and at the end of the turn, it returns to my hand. It's a good card, but since some of my cards are locked into superior calling Liberator units, it doesn't get off that often as I would like it to, but it helps when it does. I tech 1 Halo Liberator Mark for a certain reason. Its skill is when it's placed. It doesn't say from hand. When it's placed on Guardian Circle, I can drop 1 to complete guarded. And there's a certain card in this deck that I run that allows it to do this. I tech it at 1 so that doesn't get off very often, but when it does, it is super helpful. I play 2 Dawning Light Gorbaduct. It's stride fodder, drop it for stride. It's super easy, super simple, and I would be kind of dumb not to at least run at least 1 or 2. Next, I play Knight of Morning Light Horsa? Yeah, Horsa. That's always a weird name for me. Its skill is Unite. Whenever something is called, doesn't matter from hand or from deck, this unit and the unit in front of it gains 2,000 power. It specifies units, so Vanguard can also gain the power as well. It works with a certain card I have that really helps out in the long run. It's a great power boost. It's like a slightly better Bruno, but the Unite skill on the GB lock does make it on par with Bruno, I do have to say. It's a good card to have in my deck, and I leave it at 2 because so is my cards that need to have superior call targets for Liberators, so I only play it at 2 like with Gorbaduct. So that's it for my grade 1s. On to my grade 2s. One of the main grade 2s of the deck. I run it at 4 for a reason. Oath Liberator at Global. It is one of the main superior call engines I have in this deck that is super easy early game superior call engine. When it's called, Counterblast 1, check top 3, superior call any liberator that is among them. It is a super easy cost, super easy to get off skills, and it is one of the main grade 2s of the deck. But it's not a main grade 2 you have to ride. It's not the best grade 2 that you can ride. It's better to have at least one other grade 2 in hand to ride, then call this for another free attack, so you don't have to waste any more resources in your hand. Another one of the main grade 2s in the deck, Taciturn Liberator Brenius. This is actually it's like my only unflip engine in this deck that I can really use effectively. What it does is, when something's superior called from deck, it gains 2,000 power and the ability to unflip, and the skill stacks, so you can, if you superior call 5 times, you have 5 flip damage. When this hits, you unflip 5 damage instantaneously. Good card, but I wish it was a little bit more consistent. But what are you gonna do? It's a good card, but I guess they didn't want to make it too overpowered. Sword Principal Liberator Magnus. It is a good card to have in the deck. Its skill is, when this guy is superior called from deck, check top 3 and call a liberator to rearguard. This is like one of the, all my other liberators is either open rearguard. This is the only one that is rearguard. So if you already have a filled rearguard and you've superior called this, you can still get off more of your chains. It's a good card to have, but I have to have at least 2 liberators on my Vanguard circle, say Legion, Stride. It works. It has it's a little tedious to have that skill go off sometimes, but it's super simple to get off in Stride, have the superior called, get off a lot of your skills. It's super, super good. Alright, I tech 1 of Blaster Blade Liberator, mostly because I have a certain card that runs with this card very well, and if I have it in my hand, I can just ride it, so I can get off all my other skills and other effects for it. So it's mostly because I like it, and it's good for a card, and it's a good grade 2 to like ride. Alright, next card. Next are my grade 3s. One of the other reasons Global is the main grade 2 of the deck is because of Legion. I played 2 Bluish Flame Liberator Percival. It's an okay card. It's a pretty good card, I guess you could say. It's a free superior call when it legions. It gains 2,000 power when you have a different unit in the middle column. So it's if you ride it, it's just an instant 17k beater. It's an instant 17k attack at least each turn because of your starter, and it's just an overall pretty okay card. The main grade 3 of the deck is Bluish Flame Liberator Prominence Core. I do not run Glare. That is a key point in this deck. I do not run Glare. It still works out pretty well, considering Glare has more of a hefty cost. But this, with Legion, even if I don't have the Sentinel blocker, it's still a great push to a lot of other people. And it gains 3,000 power, a crit when something with the same name as when you're Legioned is superior called from deck. Instant 3k crit. It's a good card, and it's the main grade 3 of the deck, but I don't usually Legion with it because I'm usually striding. But if I do Legion, I always have that backup plan. Alright, last but not least, my main deck is Liberty Monarch Sanctuary Alfred. I run this at 2 just in case I run into any of the Link Joker games. That's why I play Blaster Blade Liberator, so I can get the ultimate break off. To gain 10,000 power and a crit. It gains 1,000 power for each gold paladin in the rearguard circle, so it's a good 21k attacker with just the starter behind him. Granted, it's not. I love this card to death. It's like one of my favorite grade 3s in Liberators in gold paladin, but in all actuality, it's just an okay card. I tech it because it is able to put cards back to the deck that are still locked and superior call them back out, which is good. It's good. But it's not the best situation to have if you're not playing Link Joker. You'd either want to ride Glare or Percival. in order to get things off. It's it's situational, I guess you could say. That this card is just a situational card that's really only good against Link Joker and stuff that retires, I guess. But okay, that's it for the main deck. Now on to my G Zone. All right, since I don't have this laid out, I'm gonna have to. Sorry for my ugly hand. All right, that's for later. I run two. Count it, two. True Liberator Holy Flame. It's a good card to ride first stride, unflip something, and checks top 3, and also sets up for Legion if I do have to do that late game, which is really, really good. And also, the other unit gains 2,000 power. And since I have 2 Liberators, Magnus also works with this. Since they are both different names. They will always be different name when I stride into this first. If I can get Magnus off, that is just a really good combo piece to get done. Okay. Granted, my G-Zone isn't really complete yet, but it's almost there. I run 2 Golden Dragon Spear Cross Dragon, for obvious reasons, just in case, like, my board is empty. I have a couple of G-Zone units placed face up, and this is like the only thing I can go into. It's a good like setup card. It's a good comeback card if you really do need it. Counterblast 2 is a hefty cost, but what are you gonna do sometimes in order to get off your plays? Next, I'm going to, because these are some of the proxies. I don't have them yet, but I'm going to be running for Golden Dragon Glorious Reigning Dragon because it's just a downright good card. What it does is Counterblast 1, unflip a version of itself, return 2 units to the bottom of the deck, check top 7, superior call as many cards you have flipped up in the G, flip face up into the G zone. And if I call 3 or more, I can soul charge 1, unflip 1, which sets up for something later on. But it's a good multi-attacking card, and it's just like, it's a good like finisher if you know you can break through the opponent's shields and everything. It's just a good card. Okay, next card. Right now, I just run one of these. Golden Dragon Ray Breath Dragon. It's an okay card, I guess I could say. If I don't have anything else to go into, and I call 2 units, it gains 5k, all my front row units gain 2k, and it's just, I guess you could just write it as a big base. It's just a very, very big base. I guess people can run it in a normal Gurgit deck to get huge numbers, but right now it's just like a big base in my deck if I don't have anything else to stride. It's still a pretty okay card in my opinion, but what are you going to do? Sometimes you have to run a budget. I run 2 Scourge Point because it's like, again, like Brave Breath Dragon, it's like a very, very, very big base. If I superior call a bunch of times, it gets up to very high numbers along with the rear guard, which is good. I find it good, but if your opponent has a perfect guard, then you're pretty much screwed for that turn. But you know what? It's a good like finisher if you know your opponent doesn't have a perfect guard, and if you don't have anything else to stride into, and you have a lot of superior calling potential in your hand. So I suggest at least running this at 1 or 2, depending on your preference. If not, none at all. If you don't think you're gonna need it. All right. This is just my build, and it's my personal preference. For my G Guardians, I run 2 Slimming Flare. This is why I run one of Mark, because its skill, when it's placed on Guardian Circle, return 1 card from the deck, check top 5, choose 2 cards with a different grade, and superior call them to the Guardian Circle. Say you get, like, Mark. Say your opponent has, like, a giant, just, like, 90,000 power Vanguard or whatever, because that's a thing these days, and there's no way you can guard it. So you check, you try to go to Flaming Fire just to see if you can like try to survive with the numbers, but then you get Mark. You can just literally just put him down and just drop a card to completely guard the attack because it says placed. Mark is just placed on rear Guardian Circle, which means it doesn't have to be from hand, which means it can just be just death, and just avoid death completely. And I also run to Sacred Heaven Prayer, Master Ram. It's just like if I have two and we're gains 5,000 power, it's super simple. It's like pretty okay. I'm gonna be running at least two of these. So there we go. And for my last G unit, I run one Sunrise Ray Radiant Sword Gurgit. Me and my friends call it Death Star for obvious reasons. It's just a good card. It's just, oh my gosh. It's a really, really good card for like a giant finisher. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2, everything in your rear gains 5k, and your Vanguard gains up to 25,000 power if I have that more. It's a Unite ability, so you have to do some setting up for it, but either way, it's really good. And you can use this more than once, which is really, really good if you want to finish them off that turn. So say you have 3 open Counterblasts, 6 cards in Soul, call 2 units, Counterblast 3, Soul Blast 6, everything in your rear gains 15,000 power, and your Vanguard gains 75,000 power. It's a good card to finish them off. Alright guys, that's the end of my deck profile. If you guys enjoyed, leave a comment leave a comment, and comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time.